Hey, good morning. I hope you're having a great weekend. Today I'd like to get straight into MINBOS resources again. We've been over MINBOS a long time or a number of times, should I say. And I think it has a lot of potential, but today I'm going to delve a little bit further into the various projects they have, potential valuations, etc., to create some discussion and debate and enrich the discussion for other investors or those that are interested out there. So I will be referring to a few sources, some discussions, a broker report actually by Evolution Capital. It's available online. Really good reference material. Obviously there are DFS announcements and other resources available from ListCore or their own MINBOS's own website resources. But what I'd really like to do is jump into the numbers that that we have now and potentially what they could be. So MINBOS resources, as I've explained this one before, they have a vision for Africa, a vision, their initial flagship project, Cabinda Phosphates / Fertilizer project. It's really to enhance the production capability, Southern Africa, in Angola, and not just limited to Angola, but the wider region. There's been a lot of testing. There's Angola is a country that's very accustomed to international investment. There's focus and cooperation with the World Bank, the International Fertilizer Development Center. If I got that the right way around, forgive me if I didn't. So a lot of work, a lot of background, and the projects are as follows. So there is the main Cabinda Phosphate project, which is what we all have our focus upon. We'll go into that in a bit more detail. There's an additional project, potential project, focused on LFP batteries, and that's using, let's say, different grades of phosphate that wouldn't be used for fertilizer production in the production of LFP batteries, and the tailwinds for LFP batteries are obvious, China, from what Tesla's been saying, etc. And then there's another really interesting project, and that's called the Cabinda Green Ammonia project, where we have some cornerstone investors who are supporting in the background with around $25 million, and they will support with the development of possibly an additional 100,000 tons per annum production for the LFPs, but also a green ammonia project, which could be around 300,000, maybe expanding further, 500,000 tons per annum, backed by the lowest cost electricity on the planet. That's, from my understanding, an average of 1.1 cents cents per kilowatt hour. Also, just to mention that none of these numbers are indicating any kind of advice. Please take them, it's for curiosity, be inquisitive, challenge them, test them. I'm just doing this to help disseminate information and create a discussion. So those are the kind of, let's call them three projects: the Cabinda Phosphates, the extension for LFP batteries, and also there's the green ammonia project. So it's three. Now, previously I mentioned that the DFS showed a range in terms of the NPV calculation for the project, with assumptions on percentage ownership, with assumptions on the spot price for TSP. What I'd like to go into is some of the inputs showing now for the Cabinda Phosphate project. And what's interesting here in these inputs is the estimated production per annum, which is only for one plant. So we're only looking at an initial stage of the project, and there's potential to expand. And you can see the resulting financials from that, the range. And I think actually the base case valuation is quite fair. If we look at the current international market at a price here for the triple superphosphate stuff, I think long term that price that was mentioned, $300 I think, is fair. As currently we're at TSP 390. I got to be careful here because some of these prices are used as a bridge and a link to the end sales price. So that, just try to follow me because it does get a bit complex. And from there, I'd like to just show you from Evolution Capital the what they call their sum of the parts and how they've valued this project. So first of all, they've applied a 50% weighting to their NPV assessment. I've read through their report. I think the DFS versus their analysis is pretty good for the Cabinda Phosphate project. There are some assumptions there for the LFP project and for the green ammonia project. It was difficult to see what calculations, whatever those were based upon, but it looks to me that a very conservative early stage evaluation has taken place for each of those segments. And after applying their 50% weighting with an assumption of additional equity raise in 2024, they come to a target price of 25 cents, Australian cents. It's another thing, by the way, I'm using dollars, and sometimes subconsciously I'll say dollars and I mean US dollars, or I'm referring to dollars as in Australian dollars, so forgive me if I come across as a little bit confused there, but I'll do my best to remember US dollars, Australian dollars. Okay, so now I'm talking Australian cents per share. That's their assessment. You can see the breakdown that we have there. Now, I have to say that what I see there is fair analysis, but a really, really conservative approach for a project that is this advanced. That's my view. So I still think there's a really, really good upside based on the valuation metrics that Evolution show, and I think it's a really good benchmarking report to base your own analysis upon. You know, what they've taken, what we've got in the DFS, and what is the potential for the two additional projects. Now, in the two additional projects, again, we can do back of the envelope calculations. You know, for the LFPs, you could take the 100,000, or if you looked at the assumptions that I showed you before of a one plant scenario, which is what the DFS is based upon. What if it was a two plant scenario? You know, just do your sums. You can play around and just look at the potential for that. On the green ammonia side, yeah, if you take could be 300 to 500,000 tons per annum. If you take a spot price of $500, assume you have costs of $350, so your margin's $150, multiply it out, and you get a potential value for the green ammonia project as well. So it's all it's in terms of the potential value and potential upside. I still say it's really looking good. I still say the base case assumption for the Cabinda phosphate project in the DFS was fair. The market dynamics for fertilizer, for food production, population growth, it's all plus favor. Really great news recently for the MOU for 66% of production, and also the siting being awarded for the green ammonia project. So, you know, that's taking a step forwards. Previously, they'd signed an MOU for the power supply from the hydro facility. So progress is being made, really. I've mentioned the growth, potential growth, actual growth and potential growth, 11% per year, I think, China for LFP batteries. So in summary, we'll try and provide more resources. If you contact me and ask me where did I get this, where did I get that, I can give references, etc. But I would really take these figures, look into them. If I'm to sort of say, what are the potential valuations? Well, you've got your evolution report, and they've applied a 50% risk weighting. They've also assumed that there would be an extra $30 million cap raise early 2024. I'm not sure what that's for, and my understanding is that will be debt finance. End of June 2023, in their quarterly, company had 12 million Australian dollars in the bank, which is you know, still good and healthy, and they're working towards their debt financing. So Cabinda phosphate project, you've got your ranges there, maybe 300-400 million Australian dollars. You've got the LFP, or potential additional plant, let's call it. That could be another few hundred million dollars, Australian dollars. You've got your Cabinda green ammonia. If that goes to full production, that could be well in excess of $500 million Australian dollars. Back of the envelope, not advice, not verified calculations, but those are the sum of the parts from evolution. Those are the sum of the parts potentially, from what I see. So what? We're talking potential range 50 Australian cents to $1 Australian per share as a valuation, including some additional equity dilution, including perhaps some options, triggering options, etc. You put all that into place, and I still think it's looking really good. So I hope this has been helpful. There are a lot of numbers out there. There are 3 separate projects out there, some of them very early stage in valuations. There's obviously the existing main project that's due to go into production, but I hope this gives a bit more detail, a bit more flesh, a bit more accounting and numbers behind the potential for MINBOS versus its current market cap and share price valuation. Thank you very much. As usual, wish you all the best. Stay safe, and really sharing information so that this benefits all investors, and that we grow in wealth together.